One more cut. Now listen, I'm sorry I'm not on camera for you to see, but I am gathering vines to do a little segment on all natural wreaths and something that will go across the seasons. Now over the years we've been experimenting down here at Greystone Gardens with different vines to make a wreath. And the one I found particularly interesting is this chap with this huge heart-shaped leaf. It's a Dutchman's pipe and it makes some of the best wreaths ever. I'll show you. Let's go around and see my display. So when we're trying to make wreaths, we're looking for two things. A, the vine is quite long, so there's plenty to make a wreath with, and that they are flexible. Now, the Dutchman's pipe is an aggressive vine, but it produces some of the most flexible. Look at that. You can almost tie knots with this stuff. So what I usually do is wait for the leaves to drop. So we need a couple of cold frosts to make the leaves come off, and then you can select long pieces of this vine to make the wreaths. Other alternatives, well, you can use, I've got one here, the good old grapevine, which you can see growing in the wild. Grapevine is not quite as flexible, but it will go around and make a reasonably size. It's a little bit dry on the end, but you can bend it round. You can see there, you can make, you know, a 10-inch wreath that doesn't crack, doesn't split open. And again, you weave them inside. The other one I've been using are willows. Now, willows in England are used an awful lot. Willows, if you coppice them and cut them down, the new shoot can be very long. The new shoots are very flexible. If you start getting the old shoots, they're not quite as flexible and they will split. But a willow can make a reasonably sized, see how it bends around? Reasonably sized wreath, or a big one if you like. So easy for that. Big is not a problem, making the small ones is. All right, let me put those aside because I've already got something prepared for you over here. So let's just start with the Dutchman's pipe. You see, it makes a very nice, pretty tight, very reasonably sized wreath. And there's nothing wire holding this together. It's pure and simple, just weaving it, bending it, and turning one little branch into another and underneath each other, and eventually it will lock together. Now, just to show you a little combination, here we've got the same thicker Dutchman pipe inside, and then we're using the smaller branches to kind of give a different effect. It is so flexible, it will actually make a tiny little wreath like that. And the idea of this really is to have a wreath that can run from fall all the way through to winter. As plants become available, you can put more into it quite easily. And as leaves become a bit discolored, you can take them out. So it is a flexible wreath that looks all natural. And it's got a little bit of green wire in it, and that's it. Everything else is all from the yard outside here. So I went around, I've collected different things, different evergreens, a little bit of euonymus, some holly, some winter berries, and a few grass sort of flowers, inflorescence, to add to it all. And of course, hydrangea, because we have lots of them here down at the garden centre. And it was a little lady in England who just showed me this little tip, which I thought was brilliant, because often the problem with making wreaths is to fix everything in there. So what she did was select out little, I suppose I could call florets, little bunches, little posies. We created a little bit of evergreen, and we're creating a little stem that we can put all the stems together. There's a grass stem behind and a little hydrangea flower. So if you look closely, all the stems are lined up. The technique that I love was the fact just use an elastic band. And the elastic band is going to be hidden. It's made of rubber. And I'm just wrapping it around pretty tight. And that stops everything falling apart. Like that. So there's one. The other one I wanted to do was a slightly alternating one. We'll put one of those on the wreath. Then we'll do something. I put a bit of red in there because it is getting towards the holiday time. But the winter berries look brilliant at the time. I've got a bit of wintergreen here, or euonymus, holly in the front, and the winterberry, which is a deciduous holly at the front. And again, all you do is match the stems up, trim them if one's too long, and then wrap the elastic band around to hold it in place. Probably need anywhere from 15 to 20 of these little bunches to go around it. And all I'm going to do is attach them. This is where the wire comes in, with what they call florist's wire. I'm going to get one of these bunches. I'm going to lay it next to the green wire, and then I'm going to wrap the wire around it to lock it in place. When you get the next one, you lay that on top to hide it, and then move the wire down a little bit and work the wire really tight. I'm not doing any knots or anything, it's just pulling the wreath together. Just going to get under this last one. And by George, I think we just had enough. So I haven't done this before, so it's the first time you're seeing me do this, but I think those little bunches makes life so easy. So there you go. That will grace any door. All right, so we have our hook on our door, front door to the garden shop. And so it's nice to show what's in flower at the garden centre, kind of like this, but this is a wreath I think I'm quite proud of. Very easy. If you've got any questions, as usual, we're down here at Greystone Gardens. If it's about wreaths or about garden plants or house plants, we'll love to see you.